Mark again for Think and Grow Rich. Seventh. No, today we're on eighth principle. The Think and Grow Rich. It's persistence. Right now, I'm working on. Give me 1 second. I'll do something. I'm working on just not doing the thing practicing. See, I'm a beginner at speaking. I'm a beginner at teaching. I'm a beginner at platform promoting. I'm a beginner at this, so I'm learning as we go. And my mentor gave me a few pointers, gave me a few examples, gave me a few things to consider when I'm speaking. He mentioned that silences are okay. Instead of putting in a soul or you have to practice a lot. So you're kind of my laboratory rats, as you can say. See, that's another thing though. And throughout this process, it's not an easy process. Bob Proctor says it. A lot of people don't do it, don't want to do it, or start doing and stop because it is hard. You are going against your paradigms. You're going against your programmation. This is like if you're driving and you put your GPS on and you go against your GPS is going to scream. Recalculate, 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 recalculate. And that's it's what is happening in your brain through that process. It's not something that you are used to. Most of us are actually programmed to do the total opposite. Like I said yesterday, we're programmed to run away from fear. From pain. And when we do that, we cut ourselves short of what we can really accomplish. We have to learn to run towards pain. No, you have to be careful. I'm not saying stupid pain. I'm not saying pains that we know. Don't go running after rejection, An example could be, this woman is really not interested in you, and I mean, like, really, and you still go after her. Well, that's a bit stupid. That's running towards pain that you don't need and it's not necessary. I'm talking about necessary pain. I'm talking about grown pain. I'm talking about getting yourself out of your comfort zone and going for the things you want and going for the things you love, because it's all about love, and going for the things you cherish and going for your dreams. That will cause pain, and it's a good pain. It's not a normal pain that, it hurts because you're going against, like I said in the beginning, you're going against programming. So you're recalculating your route. And it says, when a spaceship flies to the moon or whatever, 90% of the time it's off course. It goes, okay, recalculating. So you're going to be off course. That's what it means. We are off course most of the time. But in order to get towards our dream, we just recalculate. And every time we go off course, our programmation tells us that we're an idiot, tells us that we're stupid, that we're a failure, that we're never going to get it. And going off course could mean going back to your old habits for a while there, for a week or so, or a day, or an evening, or an hour. Going back to where you were comfortable, going back to letting your fears take over, doing stupid stuff, doing stupid mistakes. And you know what? Most people who really succeed in life make mistakes. If you don't fail in life because you're not doing anything, And failure is part of the process. Failure is there to teach. So today, the subject actually is persistence. The principle is persistence. So whatever happens, we have to persist. I'm talking to myself also while I'm talking to you. Persistence is a key. Okay, let's put it in another dimension. We'll go into what persistence means to the universe, what it relates to the universe. We have to rely on unseen forces. We have to rely on, we don't have to, we choose to. We choose to rely on unseen forces, on the universe. Once you get into a process that towards a dream or a goal, and you persist through the challenges, through the ups and downs, through, as we say, the wave. You know, our life is like this. When you're going for a dream, it's like this. But you know what's really funny? Okay, watch, close to go everywhere. Okay. Life is like this. Okay. But you see, it's always underneath, it's always on the same way. But when you go towards the goal, that's like this. So, yes, you are going through some doubt. Yes, you are going through some moments where you're going to rip your head out. You're going to tear your hair out of your head. You're going to gouge your eyes out because it's just like, wow, what am I doing? You know, like Les Brown says in one of his audios, you know, it is hard because at one point they came and got his car. They were going to cut off his phone. He was sleeping on his office floor. And he was calling himself crazy. Said, what the hell am I doing here? But he persisted, and look at him now. Look at him today. So we'll go on the slide, and we'll see what Napoleon thinks about persistence. See, whatever happens, whatever mistake you make, it's not important. What's important is you keep on going, you keep on going, you keep on going. And you know what that's going to do to you? If you keep on going, it's going to build faith in you. It's going to build pride in you. It's going to build self-confidence. It's going to build, okay, yeah, I can do this. I can. So persistent. So we went through all that already. So then we went through desire, fate, auto succession, specialized knowledge, imagination, organized planning, decision, persistence. Persistent, the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. The step towards riches. We already have what it takes. We went through that already. And like I said in the audio when we first said the video when we first said that is to replace you are by I am. Okay. We already are all that. It's just there's been a lot of stuff piled up on it. Then your coach telling you you're an idiot, coaching telling you you're not going to achieve anything. Your coach is telling you you're not good. You have all the competition in schools. You know, there's the big jock that wins everything, but you know, you're a middle guy, you're your average guy. So all the guys on top of you pick on you, and you pick on yourself because human nature is like that. And you got your parents probably telling you things they shouldn't have. The clergy probably telling you what you read, or you know, watching TV too much. You know, programs, negative stuff that are not related to what's on that slide. And that's lies. The truth about yourself is what's on that slide. You were born like that. You were born a miracle. You were born with all that. And what happened in between created some of these parts you don't believe anymore. Or it wasn't shown to you, or you haven't proven to yourself that you are these things. Now your responsibility is to reprogram them. So a good service you could do to yourself is to replace who you are by I am smart, I am creative. Sorry, big day. So persistence is important to get what you want in life. There's no other way. It's the only way. With the other principles, they're all put together. It's one of the key components. Because you can put all the other principles in action, but if you do not persist, you won't get nowhere. If you stop when it starts to get hard, or when you get like rejection, you know what? I don't know if you heard about Jack Canfield, Chicken Soups for the Soul. These books sold millions and millions and millions of copies. And I don't remember how many times they were refused. Their script, their script, their book was refused by editors. I think it's over 70 times. And they persisted. They persisted. They persisted. They believed in it and they persisted. And look, it's millions, millions of copies. And this chicken soup for the soul, for the mothers, for the fathers, for cancer, for kids, for Christmas, for all kinds of. And it's such a beautiful book to read. They're totally amazing. I had a few. I think I lost them in moving. Yeah, I think I lost them. So persistence is important to get what you want in life. The basis of persistence is the power of will. You must have willpower and intense desire to sustain persistence. That's very important. If your goal is not hot enough inside you, if you don't have a strong passion for this goal, you either build a strong passion, and building a strong passion for your goal is getting more informed on your goal. Because see, I want an helicopter. I love driving an helicopter. I'm gonna have an helicopter. And so one of the ways to get my desire to be more intense is study helicopters. That's something in mind. Study helicopters, what they can do, what I can do with them. Where can I go with them? How far can they go? Because there's one that now I just realized that I saw on Facebook that there's a new company that put out a new helicopter. I thought the one that I wanted was like 1.5 million new, and now there's one that's like $900,000 new, and it's this sleek, amazing, beautiful helicopter. So now what I do, I have it on my computer, and I look at it every 2-3 times, and there's this configurator. Sorry. So now I put it the color I want. I put the inside the color I want, with the motor I want, and it just looks beautiful. So I look at it like 4 or 5 times a day, at least 4 or 5 times a day, and not all the time, but some of the times I look at the picture and I say, I can afford that. I can afford that. And right now today, I'm far from being able to afford that, but that's today. That's up until now. But I felt I can afford that. I have other images that are right in the back of the computer, and it's I can afford that. I can afford that. And the more I say that, the more the desire starts growing inside me, because I'm in the idea, I'm in the mindset that all is possible. So being in that mindset, I'm throwing away you can't get that, it's too expensive, blah, 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 and all the negative thinking about what I want. And it brings me to, okay, it's possible. Oh, wow, it's possible. Oh, wow. And I'm getting excited. So, okay, so having a clear picture of what you desire is important. From that point on, you will not be handicapped by a lack of persistence. So like I just said, adding a clear picture is studying. Okay, if you want an amount of money, well, then you have to study how to get that. And if you get into a field where you can get, or you get an opportunity where you can get that kind of money, where you can work towards that kind of money, it would be good, suggested that, like one of the slides that we, let me go back to one of the slides that we said, specialized knowledge, making you hard to replace. Bob Proctor says it that way. It says if you want to rate, if you want to make like a lot of money, it's like be hard to replace in your field. Be really good at it, and then be persistent, but be hard to replace in the field. I was a waiter, okay, and I was, excuse me for the expression, I was bad. Like I was quick, I was fast on my feet. I was really good at retaining orders, and I was really good at how can I say that? Finding what people really wanted, and and really needed. So I made so much money at it, and I was like really hard to replace because I was so good that I was worth financially. I was worth two waiters, in some places 2.5 waiters. They at this place they had to replace me. They had to hire 2 waiters to replace me because I was so quick and so good, and the amount of money that I would bring in. So I was specialized in that field, you know. So and giving you and make you specialize in one field also will boost your self-confidence. So when you get in front of customers, when you get in front of people, whatever the field is, when you get in front of the problem, you know the answer. You're there. You're strong, you're solid, you're there. And just that feeling, if you get in front of if you have okay, you go to a restaurant example again, and you start asking the waiter questions, and he's not so sure about his answers and all that. And you ask him about one dish in particular, and he's not so sure about. And then the other side is the way, yeah, that dish is baked that way. It's not that way. The spices, that's what they create. And if you have that kind of wine, the taste in your mouth, that's what it's going to create, and blah blah blah. And he just puts it out there in front of you. What do you think is going to happen? You're probably going to think that because he's in confidence. He knows his product. He knows what he's doing. He studied that product. He probably tasted it. He probably went to the kitchen and asked the chef, how do you cook it? How do you do it? What kind of spice? What are the orders of the spice that you put in there? Because some of the recipes, if you put one spice before the other, it would forget it. It will screw up the recipe. So once you get to that point of knowing your product, knowing what you're selling or whatever, you get to a point of self-confidence, and that's what you reflect. And and people will hire you just because they feel confident from your self-confidence, and that will help you in your persistence. So having a clear picture of your desire is important. From that point on, you will not be handicapped by a lack of persistence. Lack of persistence. Majority of people are ready to throw their aim and purpose overboard and give up at the first sign of opposition and misfortune. You will get opposition. You will get misfortune. I got opposition about 3 weeks ago. I got misfortune. It brought me way down, way down. But my mentor told me, and I came up to my mentor. I said, I feel that way, I feel that way, I feel that way. And he told me, he says, Mark, what has changed? And I answered, nothing. He says, okay. And now I persisted, got back up. And that brings me more self-confidence, more pride, and it makes me feel want to do more. Either there's, in one of the slides before was feeling, feeling, action, and then results. And that's what it is. Get into a feeling of what you want, you do the action, and then you get the results. And results, you don't focus results. Yes, you have to think of what you want, but you're getting results right now. As you are moving every day, let's Brown put it this way. He says, when you try to meditate and your brain just goes from one side to another, and then you're thinking of a million things and all that, and you bring yourself back. Well, right now, that's a victory. So what he's trying to say is every little victory you have, you get it, but don't sit on it. You did it, keep on going. You did it, keep on going. You did it, keep on going. Very important that you fall in love with the process. If you fall in love with, even if it's hard, if you fall in love with that, and because you know that that's what's taking you to where you're going. There's going to be, you want to get to a certain point in your life. You want to become, because you're going to become somebody else. You're going to stay yourself, meaning that you're going to stay who you are, but you're going to grow. So from where you are today to where you're going to be, you're going to become something else, someone else. But in order to get there, you have to have a transformation inside, which is that's where a lot of people give up. Because it's a transformation that sometimes hurts. There's probably forgiveness you have to give out. There's probably things that you have to do. There's probably things you have to let go. Well, I talked about that yesterday. So it's the process. So surround yourself with a mastermind group, and through the cooperative effort of the members of this group, you can develop persistence. Those who can't take it are bountiful rewarded for their persistence. So if you can take the hits and get back up and keep on going, you will be rewarded. Never forget that. There's this saying at Bob Proctor, and I've added a few things on it. It says, you have to believe, you have to see the invisible. So see what's not there yet. So see the results you want. You have to expect the impossible. So right now it's not tangible. So you have to receive the impossible and receive the impossible. And I added up after that. The people are there, the money. And once you get into that process and you keep on going and you keep on going, the universe will reward you many times more than you expect. That happened to me. That happened to some friends of mine. Bob Proctor keeps on saying that every time you go towards a dream and you persist, you're going to be surprised by the blessings every year. So every failure brings it with the seed of an equivalent advantage. So you fail on something, there's something that happens to you. Les Brown, I like Les Brown, I love Les Brown. He says, this guy told you, oh, I just lost my job. And Les Brown says, nah, you have been liberated from your job in order for you to do something better for yourself and for the world. See? So there's always a positive side to everything. There's an amazing movie that reflects that there's a positive side to everything. And it's called, oh God, I forget. It's by Jim Stovall. Oh my God. Okay, I'm really sorry, but I forgot it. I'll try it. Oh, The Ultimate Gift by Jim Stovall. Watch that movie. It's free on YouTube. Amazing, incredible movie, The Ultimate Gift. And if you can watch the sequel, there's a second one too. So those who have cultivated a bit of persistence and to enjoy endurance against failure, you get to a point where things are gonna happen, so you just go through them and that's it. You know that when you make a decision on something, things are gonna start to happen that you're not expecting. You're gonna have to go through some transformation yourself. You're gonna have to go through some challenges, and because you keep on going higher, you're not gonna. You get to a point where okay, you hit a plateau, you hit something, and that's where you have to learn something else. But a lot of people stay there, but you don't want to stay there. You want to keep on growing. So as you grow more, and there's another plateau, you have to learn something else, and more challenges. Oh, higher, and it's always like that. But it's part of the. At one point, you get to a point where you say, okay, bring it to me, bring it on. I don't remember who said that. For those who pick themselves up after defeating, keep on trying, arrive, and the world cries bravo, I know you could do it. Persistent is a state of mind based on definitive purpose, desire, self-reliance, definitive plan, accurate knowledge, cooperation, willpower, and habit. Habit. How to develop persistence. A definite purpose backed by burning desire for its fulfillment. A definite plan expressed in continuous action. A mind closed tightly against all negative and discouraging influence, including negative suggestion of relatives, friends, and acquaintances, and yourself. Oh, myself. A friendly alliance with one or more persons will encourage one to follow through with both plan and purpose. Lack of persistence due to failure, procrastination, lack of skills, indecision, do not have plan, self-satisfaction, indifference. Self-satisfaction is very important. A lot of people, we are, how can I know, we're programmed to get instant satisfaction. So I want a chocolate bar, I'm going to get up and go to the store and get it. But what if I don't get that chocolate bar? Well, it's $2 more in my pocket. You know, what if I get that chocolate bar? Well, it's $2 less in my pocket. And what's going to happen tomorrow night? I'm going to probably want another one, and the night after, and the night after. So after a week, it's $14 out of my pocket. After a month, it's $60 out of my pocket. A year, it's $360 out of my pocket. 10 years, it's $2,600 out of my pocket. So see what I'm getting to? You have to learn to not push away, but retard. It's not postpone the satisfaction in a way that, in order to, like, you know, if you keep on having the same spending habits that you used to have, and you're not putting money into your project or your dream or your business, well, you won't get it. You have to make sacrifices. In order to sacrifice, which is very important, to postpone satisfaction. So indifference, well, you're never going to get anywhere. Blaming is the worst thing you can do. Finding excuses, blaming, worst thing you can do. Lack of motivation, you get to quit at the first sign of defeat. Lack of organized plan, indecision, wishing instead of willing, settling for less, poverty mindset. Search for, no, I'm okay the way I am. You know, search for shortcuts, there are no shortcuts. And fear of criticism. You know, don't care about what people think. Persistent willpower and desire, when properly combined, make an irresistible pair. Men will commit great fortunes are known as cold-blooded and sometimes ruthless, and often are misunderstood. What I understand from that is because you get to a point where you don't let anything else bother you, and people are not used to that, so they see you as, well, you can consider it ruthless because you're just going, and who does not follow, you lead back. And you know, some people, I've put people aside and they told me I'm a jerk and you know, I'm an asshole. I don't see my family as much because I'm spending time on that. You know, this summer I'm a sailfish. I love sailing, and this summer I haven't sailed one day because I'm focused on something else. And doing that, you know what's going to happen? Is life knows that, the universe knows that, but I'm making sacrifices. So I'm going to be sailing like crazy in a few years. So what they have is willpower, which is they mix with personal persistence and face back of their desire to ensure the attainment of their objective. The lack of persistence measure people are ready to throw their arms. Yeah, it's a common weakness. You know, that's why you have to be surrounded by a mastermind group. Because if you try to do this alone, forget it. It's too hard alone. You know, if you have a mastermind group, there's probably somebody in there that went through what you're going through, and you made it. You know, there's people in there that have attained their dreams, and they're just there to support you, and probably give you input on a better way to do things, or a better way to think, or a better way to approach that situation, or deal with that situation, actually, or just resolve it. You know. The other point of all achievement is desire. Keep this constantly in mind. Weak desire brings weak result. If you're lukewarm, you're gonna get lukewarm result. It's your attitude. You know, if you have a poor attitude, you have poor results. You have to a warm attitude, you'll have warm results. You know, warm. And if you have a high attitude, you'll have high results. Whatever the mind can conceive, the mind can believe and achieve. So, what's your experience related to persistence? How do you motivate yourself? Do you give up as easily at the sign of defeat? So those are that you know, you have to have a clear introspection. Be honest with yourself. You know, there's nothing worse than not being honest with yourself. Just let go the ego. Let go the I am. You're not. We're all human beings, you know, and be honest with yourself. Look at these questions honestly, especially the last one. And if it's a yes, find ways to not do it anymore. And it's all written in there. And it's going to be in the next slide, and it was in the before slide. Like I said in most videos. Okay. All right, so we're going to get out of there, and I'm going to wish you an amazing evening. Hopefully that brought clarity, helping you through the journey. Like I always say, reach out if you want, if you have more questions. I'm there. I'm there for you guys. I want you to succeed. I want to see you succeed. So whatever, I'm open, and I love you all, and I hope that you're going for your dreams. It's a responsibility. Take care.